Hope everyone's having a nice day. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Melanie. On the call with me today, we have Christine, who is a member of our customer value team. We also have Laura Michael, who heads up our artist program. And then we have a special guest, Nicole Slater, who is a marketing consultant and specifically works with artists and galleries and entrepreneurs. So she's here to give us some great advice on how to create a marketing rollout plan to sell your art. So we know that it's of most concern to artists to be able to sell their works, and ARTCLOUD certainly is a great tool for that, but also using strategy to be able to effectively promote your artwork is a great way to kind of keep yourself on schedule. For those of you who are not familiar with ARTCLOUD, we are a management and website platform. So we will be showing some of the tools on specifically the manager's side of the ARTCLOUD platform today. It's a great place to store all of your inventory. It has a very robust CRM or contact relation management tool. It also has an invoicing component, and we offer an integration with Stripe credit card processing. So it's a great way to be able to, invoice collectors and actually collect money through remote pay. And then it also has a reporting component to it. So we'll touch lightly on some of the areas of ARTCLOUD and how it can help you, strategize your studio practice, but we'll certainly also leave some time in between presentations and at the end to ask more questions. So Nicole, I'll let you take it over from here.
Awesome. It's so good to see so many familiar faces. Just a couple. Thank you so much, Brian and Jim and Valerie and Ashley. And there's so many, and James, everyone for joining in. If I didn't say your name, hello and welcome. My name is Nicole Slater, and I run a consulting firm for artists and helping them get their message out there through social media and email marketing and all that kind of stuff. So today we're going to be talking about how can you market your sale. So how can you create buzz, right? You have a new release. You just worked really hard on this new work, or maybe you have limited edition prints or something, holiday stuff that you want to release. How can you create buzz and really roll out that new work? So we're going to be talking about a marketing rollout plan and the how-tos and a couple of really great things that you can take home, and some tips for social media, newsletters, email newsletters, and networking, along with an ARTCLOUD feature called Social Catalogs, which I'm super excited about, which Laura will talk about a little bit later. And it's essentially how you can sell your art on Instagram and Facebook. So without further ado, the first thing you have to do, obviously, is define your sales event. So setting some target date, your launch date, right? The holidays are coming up, so we're going to have a lot of increased consumer behavior. So, for instance, Christmas is coming up, Hanukkah, New Year's Eve. There's going to be a lot of people looking for gifts. Also, Mother's Day or Father's Day, those kind of things. Summer, a lot of people move and they're looking for new artwork for, above their couch or whatever. There's certain times of year that there's these increased consumer behavior. So we really want to take advantage of that. And also kind of have countdown awareness when you pick your sales date. For instance, if you have Christmas as your big push, there's shipping problems, right? Or dates. The post office always says like, hey, you have to ship by whatever, the 19th of December in order to get it by the 25th. So just making sure that if there's any kind of restrictions, like shipping dates, that you communicate that when you think about that in your messaging before you kind of even start. So let's talk about promotions. So planning an art drop or sale day. So an example of this is maybe you have an art gallery show, and the best thing you can do is, okay, let's say January 1st is my art gallery opening. It's a New Year's Day art gallery. That's your launch day. And you want to write that date down and work backwards. That's the easiest way to do it. So maybe one day before, you'll have to send a social media message out. Tomorrow's the big day. Here's a sneak peek, and show a couple of images of things that are happening. Then maybe a week before, You want to send a newsletter, save the date, January 1st, my art at ABC Gallery, something like that. And just keep thinking backwards of what you need to do in order to get to that date and really prep people. A lot of times artists say, oh, I don't want to burden people. I don't want to message them too much. Especially when it comes to social media, the chances are if you have 100 followers, not all 100 are going to see that message, right? A smaller proportion of that. So you do need to mention things multiple times in order really to have it sink through. Now, after you kind of think about what's happening before, think about after. So again, in that example of a gallery show, 1 month after, maybe sending a message out either via email newsletter or social media. Hey, last week to see my exhibition at ABC Gallery. Or maybe it's a supply and demand thing. Oh, there's only a few pieces left. Creating that buzz, creating that, oh, there's only 3 limited edition prints left. Here's a link to buy them. That's a really good way to start thinking about how you can launch your event is in relation to time. So here is a real world example. I'm obsessed with this company. It's called Spin Ceramics, and they're located in the Bay Area. I have yet to buy a mug because every time I do, they sell out right away. And it's very limited release. They only release like 4 times a year. And they do this beautiful gold kind of sheen on it. So let's kind of look at a teaser post. And this is really kind of some good examples of how you can use teasing. They did an Instagram reel, and in the background, they have all the things that they're releasing, right? And in the actual description here, they said, midnight, we are delighted to finally reveal and release our final October colorway. So the color series. So that's cool. That's a quick little, here's a little tease about what's going on. Then they actually look at the full line. So they have really high quality, high resolution photos of all of their mugs and all of the different colors. So this is kind of the full preview look. And look at this, midnight collection and final release of our fall colorways coming this Thursday, November 10th at noon. So it gives a very specific date. And then here's the money sentence right here. Newsletter with all the information going out tomorrow. You can still sign up to get it on our website if you're not already. That's a wonderful CTA or call to action. So the whole point of this campaign is to drive people to the website to sign up for that newsletter. And really, your newsletter is your money. We actually had a really awesome artist talk about a month ago about email newsletters and email campaigns, and all that information will be at the end, but definitely check that out. They also go into detail about what's going on and use all these awesome hashtags. Is everyone following along so far? Any questions? Okay, good. Here's a behind the scenes post. I think this is really crucial for all artists to have something like this. If you're a painter, show the process, show a timeline, or show your studio, what inspires you. This is them getting ready and excited for, the release of their stuff. When you head to their website, we talked about that pop-up happening. So this is their website. And then there should be a little pop-up. Want to join our newsletter? I'm not always a huge fan of pop-ups. I think they should be used sparingly, but because their campaign is designed to drive that newsletter, so you get the information on how to buy the mug, this is a perfect example. And also for ARTCLOUD, this is a feature that you can do if you have an ARTCLOUD website. And we'll talk about that in a little bit later. So we kind of talked about teasing, behind the scenes, driving people to that website. And finally, when you sign up for the email newsletter, this is what you get. And it's a really detailed post with here's the time, here's all the information, everything you need to know, all the sizes, all the colors, and it really builds that excitement. And you buy them on Etsy, but you got to make sure to set a reminder to do so. So I think that's just a really great example of all the things you can do, kind of tease it out. After the actual launch, they built a ton of reels. And I really love these. So the first one's feeling so grateful, mind boggled by all of you yet again. Thanks for selling us out in a blink of an eye. I think it's safe to say we're definitely going to keep making the Midnight series for the rest of the year. So that little tease like, oh, this is not the last drop of these colors. In the middle we have, but in the meantime, I have to say goodbye to all the pieces getting packed up and shipped out to their new homes. So you see a little packing slip here. In ARTCLOUD, you can do a certificate of authenticity. So this is something that you could print out and show in a similar way. And then in the last one, they said working on the next batch of mugs already. That's building that buzz, right? So that's kind of cool. So here's another example. Melanie, you want to show us what's going on with Platform? Because this is a really cool email campaign that they sent out.
Yeah, some of you might be familiar with Platform, which is David Zwirner's kind of e-commerce genius idea that he developed in the pandemic. And it's a curated, limited time monthly release of select artists. And, you know, if you sign up for their newsletters, you'll see that they're kind of using a similar prescription to what Nicole has described by, you know, creating buzz leading up to the next release of artists. And then they're also doing, you know, clever things with marketing the current month of artists. So, you know, last call, last opportunity to purchase these works, and you know, getting you excited about the next works. And you know, something that I kind of feel is that, you know, there's a bit of exclusivity, or, you know, as Nicole is saying, like, you're really driving people to sign up for your newsletters, because then even if, you know, their social media gets bogged down with hundreds of other artists, like, you still have direct contact with them, and then feeding them something that they feel like they're special to receive, and creating this sense of, you know, a limited release or a timeline to create the urgency to make them want to purchase something from you, like right then and there, like the fleeting moment of the opportunity.
And I love how they list the prices. Everything's clear. I love that call to action. This is a great example. Thank you. Another way you can build buzz is by partnering with organizations. So if you are having a gallery show, you can actually maybe approach them to co-sponsor an ad, maybe an Artillery magazine or Carla or another publication, and ask them if they have a marketing budget for the show. Not all galleries are going to be into that. I've had artists that actually just buy their own ad in Artillery to get the word out there because it's good for them. So just something to think about. Another example is creating a holiday or partnering with a holiday, Earth Day, Mother's Day, something like that. With Earth Day, you could partner with a nonprofit and they have the 10% of proceeds go to charity. So it's a good feel story. You can reach out to the media and do a press release. We actually have another ARTCLOUD office hours coming up next month about getting the attention of media. So definitely stay to the end of the presentation so you get that information. But reaching out to that media and press release, the goal is to partner with brands and businesses that have a wider reach than you do. Let's say you don't have media contacts, or you don't know press writers, you don't have money for an ad. Well, there's influencers on Instagram, right? So if you only have 200 followers, but you're in an art show with maybe someone with 10,000 followers, create an Instagram reel, have them in there. Instagram reel also has this awesome new tool called collaboration. So you could create an Instagram reel and add a collaborator. I actually did this with someone on the call. Ann Weber is on the call as well. So I went to her show, added her as a collaborator. It's a really successful post, and it showed on my Instagram and her Instagram. She just had to accept it. So there's all kinds of different features and tools that you can use. And feel free to reach out to me or anyone here at the ARTCLOUD team if you have more questions about how to do that. So first bit, does anyone have any questions on the stuff that we've presented so far about creating, you know, buzz, partnering with organizations, anything out there? Any questions?
Looks like Anne, you might be on mute.
Anne's on mute.
Yes, I really appreciate these talks, and it's great to have a community out there. I am a little concerned. I mean, it's a great example that you used about the ceramics and your own personal story about that. But I think most of the people that are on ARTCLOUD are probably not craftspeople. And we're working with a budget of, maybe minimum 300, maybe minimum 100 at the very, cups are going to be probably 25, 50 at the most. And
we're losing you a little bit, Anne.
That you can sell during holidays.
Can you repeat that one more time? Because you froze for a second.
Oh, okay. But, I also question whether or not artists can really capitalize on holidays. Maybe buying for yourself. I mean, when I'm shopping for Christmas, I buy one for them and one for me, but usually it's not art. So I'm wondering if we could focus, if there's a way to think about this for artists and how that could be. The CTA,
that's a great point.
I've already forgotten CTA, if that's what I get from the farmer or if that's what
call to action.
I know.
Buy this, do this, something like that. So that's a really great point. It's like, how can artists, there's a bunch of different types of artists on this call right now. So for holiday specific, not everyone makes tchotchkes, right? Or like a mug or a craft or that kind of, there's, obviously very professional painters, sculpturists, and different things like that. As far as holidays, to take that part of your question first, there's so many ridiculous holidays out there. So there's, for you, Anne, you work with cardboard. There's probably some National Cardboard Day. There's also Upcycle Day or, different things like that, Reuse Materials Day. So there's ways that you can tie in your art. For Mother's Day, if anyone has a post or does art about their mothers or about, relationships with women, you can tie in that way, in a thematic way. It doesn't have to be a particular holiday. It can be an anniversary of when you moved to LA, to how long you've been an artist, to New Year's Eve, to, whatever it is. It's just start thinking about the themes of your art and how they tie into other things that are bigger and broader. And especially if you can partner with an organization or someone bigger than you, that creates a better story for the media to cover. I think that was the overall idea behind that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think to Nicole's point, something that you might get out of this call is to start to pay attention to marketing strategies like this. So now you're aware of what David Zorner, it's prescriptive. It's once a month, and they have a pre-release during the month and post-release, and then they're immediately getting ready for the next month. So, pay attention to, marketing posts or marketing campaigns from other artists, from galleries, even, from the craft world or, high-end, Nike, like what are they doing? Because you can take those learnings and then apply it to your own art. And I certainly think, people are buying art online and through campaigns, and, people are hungry for, content and like creating this strategy. So if you can be thinking about how to make it make sense with your artwork, I think that there's certainly, room for that. Marion Weber, hi, in the chat is asking, does it denigrate your work if you put it on sale? I think that's a really interesting and loaded question. Some of you on this call might have some opinions about that.
Yeah, I think it depends, right? On what, really quickly, another idea for Anne and for other people is if you are represented by a gallery, sometimes they'll give you a show every couple of years or something like that, but they can also send it, most galleries have their own newsletters. So if they have not featured your work and you are part of their stable artists, send them a message and say like, hey, I noticed, I haven't been featured in your newsletter. Do you mind putting, here's a high quality image, here's everything, I think this would look fabulous in your next newsletter, and do the work for them. And they're like, yeah, sure. Okay. I'll throw it in, So again, being part of those larger organizations and using those keys. As far as selling your work online, I think, the old school art industry, yes, that's the ideology we're coming out of, is that, you have to go to school and you have to get an MFA and you have to be represented by a gallery and you have to, real artists don't sell their work online and yada, yada, yada. And that still works for some people. The newer side of the art industry is, that we're in 2022. And so it's so much easier. E-commerce is so much easier. So I think having your art featured on ARTCLOUD, having your inventory put in there and being put on their marketplace, that's a professional artist, platform. So I don't think that would denigrate your work or make you look cheesy or anything like that. I think if you sell a painting that's $10,000 and try to sell that on Etsy, that might not be a good look. Etsy is a great place for mugs and smaller pieces and handmade gifts and stuff like that. So it's really about where you're putting your art. But the fact of selling your art on your own website or having it a place where people can contact you or do a studio tour and come and purchase art, I don't think automatically says that it cheapens your product. Maybe just pay attention to where you're putting your product, if that makes sense.
Marian, I think you were asking specifically about putting it on sale, so like a reduced price. And maybe we can take what Nicole was explaining and not think about making it about a reduced price, but make it about like a limited time offering. So I have this selection of work in my studio that I'm going to be offering up until Mother's Day, if any of you want to give it as a gift to your mother or things like that, so that you're presenting the idea of scarcity or that limited time. I think I'm a personal sucker for buying things when like 10% of proceeds go to, any animal organization or, something like that. It makes me as the buyer, like it just, okay, I already wanted that piece of art, but if I do it this month, then, I feel like I'm giving some money to a good cause. So, it's kind of up to you to determine if you want to put it on sale, but I think there are other ways to create kind of a buying opportunity with this marketing strategy that might not require you to put it on sale or at a discounted price.
Awesome. Any other questions up until this point? Okay, and make sure that everyone's muted. All right, next, I believe Laura is up and she's going to talk about content calendars, which I think will be useful no matter what kind of art you do.
Yeah, so also to add to that, I think just overall, like this kind of concept can not just be about selling, or it can be about presenting the work you did at a residency, or just kind of showing off a new series of work that you've just completed, but just kind of taking these tips into mind as a way to kind of, drum up the buzz, as Nicole keeps mentioning, just kind of trying to engage your audience across, social media, using your newsletter campaigns and things like that. So just keep in mind this, and of course, artists are so unique. Everybody has their own body of work, their own way to sell the work, what they're comfortable with. So please just take this with a grain of salt and just try and imagine, how you might fit your practice into this content.
Great point.
A content calendar is kind of a way to just visualize a lot of the things that Nicole was talking about. So building up to that promotion or that event or that, studio walkthrough, whatever it may be, you can kind of plan out how you're going to share your studio, your work, behind the scenes posts, works in progress, any kind of information that you might want to share. It's a nice way to kind of visualize it, so that you are, creating a range of content, posting on the many channels you might be on, Instagram, Facebook, creating newsletters and just planning it out so that it's a little spaced out. You're not overwhelming people on Facebook or through your newsletters. And it's a really nice way to just kind of organize that. We're all visual thinkers, so it's a nice tool to have to kind of market your work. So we have this example of a content calendar. This is kind of something how it would appear. So you can notice that launch day down on the left-hand side. So that could be your big event. And then all the posts spread out on your content calendar leading up to that day. So we have a range of ideas here for you. Like the secret is out. I'm creating this series of work. Here are some behind the scene photos. You can post that on Instagram. A reminder post, my sale is dropping in a few days, get ready. Just a way to engage your audience, be sure that they're in the know of what's going on. A lot of people, we might not realize it as artists, but a lot of people are really interested in your thought process, what goes into the work, and how you're presenting that is really important to keep that engagement up and to ultimately make sales, because that is something that we really like to do. So this is a content calendar that we will be posting in our marketing email coming up, so stay tuned for that. You'll be able to download it and print it out and hopefully get some good ideas from that.
Awesome, thank you. It looks great. I love all these cool ideas.
So social catalogs are a great way to integrate the work that you are trying to sell across social media. So that is available on Facebook and Instagram. You might be familiar with shops from other artists who are selling work on Instagram or Facebook. So social catalogs are kind of the first step to setting up your shop. And ARTCLOUD really lends itself to upload your inventory super easily to Facebook and Instagram by connecting those social catalogs for you. And then your inventory is just automatically updated. It's the easiest way for you to sell your work and the easiest way for people to purchase the work. So that's a really great feature that ARTCLOUD offers on all subscriptions now for artists through our website. So check that out. Highly recommend it.
I love it that it's such an easy way, like the easier it is for people to buy your stuff, I think that's so key for sure.
Yeah, especially as people, are on social media, scrolling through Instagram, see something they like, if they can just press it and purchase it right then and there, they will. And if if there's 2 steps more than that, you're gonna lose some sales. So it's really efficient.
I think the pandemic and the Amazon one-click purchasing really changed people's buying habits online, and it's been amazing to see that trickle into art sales as well, because I think even 5, definitely 10 years ago, we would have never thought that online art sales would have been as prevalent as they've become today. Marion asked in chat, another great question kind of along these lines is, what do you think of websites that don't show prices? I think that is certainly an independent decision that you need to make. I would say that if you are not showing prices, you should definitely make it very easy to inquire on specific pieces. So one thing you'll notice on all ARTCLOUD websites is that if there are prices or not prices, there's always an inquire button, so that as someone is browsing your website, that clicking that button and sending that message directly to you to inquire about the price or ask some specifics on the piece creates the conversation that could lead to a sale. But it's certainly an independent decision whether you want to surface pricing on the website. Another thing that's very easy inside of ARTCLOUD, or you could do this in other website platforms, is choose either particular sections of your website to show pricing. So, you could have a dedicated shop page that maybe it's lower price point works, and then you're not showing prices on everything on, all of your portfolios and such. So there's lots of options for kind of tiptoeing in or toeing in to showing prices on your website without, just blanket displaying prices.
Although I will add to that, if you do the social catalogs, Meta requires that you show the prices. So
at least on some of those, yeah, because they need a direct buying initiative.
Yeah, but on your website, that Melanie brings up great points. It's all sort of individualized to each person and their feelings.
So the next part of the presentation is just about post-sales steps. So, hopefully these, marketing strategies will lead to lots of sales, and you certainly need to, give yourself some time to fulfill those orders, but also just talk a little bit about kind of like best practices for communicating with your buyers. One thing I know from my experience in the art world is that you have the most potential in collectors that you already have. Oftentimes people will repurchase artwork from you. Maybe they live with a piece of yours and they want to gift it to someone as a graduation, anniversary, wedding gift, or things like that. So, don't treat sales as one-offs, but treat it as a relationship building. So this is an example of a contact inside of ARTCLOUD, and on the activities thread, you'll notice that with the email integration that we have with Gmail or Outlook, you'll be able to initiate emails from ARTCLOUD, and then those will all get captured inside on the activities. So, when you do these sales periodically, you'll have a full record of all of that back and forth exchange. So, certainly when someone purchases something, you should email them to confirm the purchase. You can even, use ARTCLOUD to send an invoice with a link to pay via credit card, or if they're buying it directly from your website, there would be that Stripe integration. And then, you can also use the to-do functionality. So if you want to create a reminder to, send this person a tracking number, you can schedule that. Maybe you've set up the shipping and you also want to, reach out to them. Let's say it's expected to get there on the 25th. You could set up a to-do reminder to follow up with them and make sure that the art arrives safely. But, your collectors are real people. So I think the more personal you can be with these emails, the better. Something that you might want to do is ask them for a photo of, if they get your piece and install it in their living room, say, do you mind if I get a photo of the installation and post it on my social media? Because that's a kind of like personal story that your followers might want to see. And then oftentimes, collectors are proud of their collection, so they like that, collaboration element as well.
I know a lot of people have done a post before of like, oh, getting ready to ship out, or getting ready to send this to its new home, its forever home. I always think those are kind of fun.
Yeah. Nicole mentioned being able to include certificates of authenticity. That is something that, you could go to an inventory record inside of ARTCLOUD. And one of the export options is this certificate of authenticity. So this would, be something that you could include in addition to a invoice of the artwork. I'll just go over invoicing really quickly. But, inside of ARTCLOUD, you can generate invoices. And something that might be helpful is that you can track both tags and origins. So, if this sale came in from Instagram, you might want to track that as the origin of the sale. You could also, say, this sale came in from my holiday 2022, and that would allow you then to use any of these filters to, sort between the origins of your invoices and the tags of your invoices. So let me find here, all of my invoices that are from, let's see, that was a tag from my holiday sale. And then you have, a dashboard of all of those sales to fulfill directly from ARTCLOUD.
I think that's what makes ARTCLOUD this awesome tool. I mean, obviously I'm biased, but is that it's a one-stop shop. So if you want to do your invoicing, your email newsletter, it has all points of that sale before, middle, and after. So you can, keep up with collectors, keep up with people. And I love that certificate of authenticity. I know that went by really fast for people. So if you have more questions, you can reach out to us. There's plenty of articles on ARTCLOUD, and there's a lot of how-to videos. So if you're a little overwhelmed and you're new to ARTCLOUD and you're not sure, we're just basically showing the capabilities, but we're not expecting there's no quiz to redo and create an invoice in ARTCLOUD. We just want to show you that those things exist in ARTCLOUD.
Yeah, definitely. Christine, do you have some things? Do you want me to toss over the screen share to you?
Yeah, that sounds good. If anybody has any questions, please let us know. So great. So thank you everyone for being here with us today. Some of the other things that we're talking about in the post sales, and also just for communicating with your audience. We had touched on to-dos a little bit. One more thing I want to show about that. For example, if you have an invoice that you created for somebody, this is in ARTCLOUD. And you would click on it and have all your invoice information there. There's a quick link to get to that contact. And there's all this great information that's contained here under your contact cards. And so, for example, we have this activities pane. And so everything that you might have going back and forth with a client or a collector or a curator, whatever the case may be, is all contained here. So you don't have to go combing through your Gmail. And in addition, you can do things like create to-dos, like get shipping quotes. You can create due dates and you'll get an email reminder so that even if you're not logging into ARTCLOUD, you'll be reminded of these things that you need to do. So you can see all of that stuff here cataloged together, and you can add notes. Perhaps this was like a gift or wedding anniversary, something like that.
If you have really important collectors or repeat collectors, knowing their birthday, putting a note in about their birthday or their wedding anniversary or something like that, personal, so then you can reach out and send a personal message. I think that would be a great idea, especially for those repeat buyers or gallerists that you're interested in, stuff like that. You can put a to-do reminder like, hey, it's this person's birthday, go buy them a gift or send them a card.
That's great. Thanks, Nicole, for bringing that up.
Anne has a question. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, you just muted yourself, Anne. I think you were unmute before.
Could you please go back, Christine, to the contacts and shine a light on those other categories just for us to see? Is that possible?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's come in here. There's also this interests area. So this is really great if you have someone that's maybe, we have some examples here. They like small work, or, maybe they only collect things with blue and green palettes. So you can search your contacts by that, by these interests. Opportunities that's a Pro Plus feature, but in there you can it's kind of like a little sales cycle that you can create and to track a sale. So the first thing being an opportunity, your first contact, something maybe you're sending some options to a curator or a art consultant. And then it would travel through that way. I can show you what that board looks like in a little bit. Activities is that section that I had pointed out earlier that I think is one of the most beneficial, valuable things in ARTCLOUD, is that everything is contained here. And you also have a purchase history tab, so you can see all of this client's invoices, and it can pop you over to what it was that they purchased. Where were we? And there's a financial tab for adding payment methods for your contacts. It's all encrypted, so it's something that only you will see. And then, of course, you have your contact information. Super helpful to have their photo if you have so many contacts, you can't remember them all. But visually, we're all artists, so we think very visually. And also, ARTCLOUD was built that way, to be very visual and to speak to that part of our brain. But yeah, here's the birth date, as Nicole mentioned, and origin. So if you met somebody at an opening or at an art fair, you can type in origins like that and search in that way also. And you have this private notes section is exactly what it says. It's a private notes. We also have a mailing address in here, and that's a good segue into showing you how to make mailing labels. So if you have, let's say you want to send postcards to your curators list. So you can search by tag. We had created this tag of curators, and I'm going to select all these contacts and go up here into the top right where it says export, and you can export mailing labels. And we only have these 2 addresses listed in there, but and this is all, these are these aren't real people, so nobody's information is being compromised.
I want to live on Fake Street. That's awesome.
In a fake land, in a fake state.
Yeah. I think a lot of people on Instagram live there.
Yeah. So that would be if you wanted to send a physical mailing, but there's also this element in ARTCLOUD so that you can email campaigns and communications to people. And that was our previous, our office hours, was how to actually build a campaign. And that's on YouTube, but just quickly, I'll show you here how nice these campaigns can look. And it's also connected to your inventory, so you're not spending time reformatting images or typing in title information and dimensions. And then also we have these buttons, our CTAs. That's our buzzword for today.
Call to action.
Call to action. Everybody, come together. So yeah, all of that stuff is built in, and it will connect with your contacts. And after you send a campaign, you can see how many people opened it, what the engagement was, and whatnot. And that all lives here in your ARTCLOUD. So for example, if I wanted to see, all of these people opened my campaign.
You can also
It's
set
really
up
great.
to-do reminders to reach out to all those people that were clicking, on your campaign. So it's a great way, because the system has everything together. You can add to-do reminders in the CRM.
Yeah, it's nice to see how all of that stuff is connected. It's so nice. So like, here's that contact from earlier. I can be like, who was that? Oh yeah, they're the ones that, she purchased this piece, and and that date, and so on and so forth.
I definitely think for artists, like as artists, we struggle to be organized, and our brains are just naturally scattered. So it is nice to have one place. You don't have, it's great that ARTCLOUD has all these features. You don't have to use all of them. Some people just use it for invoicing. Some people just use it for inventory and don't even make it public, but maybe they just have thousands of drawings and they just want to know where everything is. So you can really customize it and use it for what your needs are as an artist. But it's nice that if you do want to use, get your email newsletter campaign out and going, and if you haven't done that yet as an artist, this is a way to do it.
Yeah. Do we have some questions there in the chat? I see the little chat bubble.
I think you answered. Marion had a question about if there was a newsletter feature, and can you, see the statistics, but you answered that perfectly.
Okay, great. Well, I'm going to stop sharing and send it back over here.
I can grab it. So we talked about, everyone can see my screen, right?
Yep.
So there we go. So those were our tips. We talked about mailing letters and newsletter campaigns. Laura, I believe you're going to explain ARTCLOUD offerings.
Yeah, so as Melanie mentioned at the beginning of our presentation, ARTCLOUD offers 2 subscriptions. We have a manager system, which is what Christina was showing off on the back end, the inventory, storage, contacts, manager and tracker, campaign builder, all of those sorts of things are available through our manager. And then we also offer a website subscriptions as well, so that you can integrate your inventory with your website and then just have all of those sales happen very seamlessly from your website. And our website builders are geared specifically for artists, so it gives you all the tools that you really need to have a beautiful, clean looking website that shows off your artwork, very customizable, so it works for artists of all sorts. And then also offers like amazing tools so that you can sell your work online if that is something that you're looking to do. Just to mention, we have a free manager. If you're just looking to store your inventory, it's a really wonderful way to just organize all of the work that you've ever made in one place. And then you're free to move up the tiers as you are in need of more features. So please check out our website, check out the artist tab and the pricing page so that you can really get a feel for all the features offered. We went through a lot of the features that we offer already in this presentation, such as the social media catalog integration, the invoicing, the email tags, all sorts of things like that. But this list goes on quite a bit more. So please check that out. And then email us if you have any questions about anything. We're really happy to show you around ARTCLOUD and give you some more details on what the system can do for you. So thank you so much for joining us. We're really happy to have you here. We do these office hour presentations every month on a different topic for artists and the business of being an artist. So please join us, and we will send you out that email like I mentioned with the content calendar and the recording of this presentation so that you can refer to it back and get that information once again. But now we'd just like to open it up to you. If you have any other questions, you can put them in the chat or raise your hand, and we're happy to answer them.
Comments, ideas, yeah.
Anything.
Go for it, Dan.
Old big mouth here.
No, it's great. Thank you.
I noticed that, I mean, first of all, I love the mailing list. I have never loved sending out it's more than I do now. It's pressing a button. No more going around with Microsoft. It's incredible. So thank you for that. And now I make it a point of whenever I have an exhibition, if I don't have, the postcards don't come through the gallery or the, or the place, then I make them myself because they're only $150 for like 1,000. And so thank you. That really made it easy. And it's very old school, but it's probably because nobody does it that it's sort of unusual. And people, put it on their postcard. They may not go, but then when something else happens, oh, there it is. But I'm interested, I just very briefly saw when talking about your campaign, and I have a feeling that that's a lot easier than monkeying around with MailChimp, but it looks like under the basic is only 500 contacts. So that's the limitation for the artist. I mean, I realize if you go up the ladder that you could do that, but that's probably a no-brainer for me because I am getting to know MailChimp, and I also have a social media woman who works with me every week, who is Michelle. Nicole.
I don't know who Michelle is.
Nicole Slater, right there.
You know what's so funny? My entire life, people call me Michelle, and I have no idea why. Like, you're not the first, you're like one of so many people that have definitely called me Michelle. That's so funny.
But anyway, could you maybe give me a little push as to why I might want to use the campaign and spend another $125 a month?
And do you have more than 500 contacts? So in all of our manager levels, there is use of the campaign builder. So even at the basic level, you could, send up to 500 contacts an email campaign once a month from ARTCLOUD. And I would say, for me, there's two big value props for using ARTCLOUD rather than MailChimp. One is that it connects to your inventory. So if you want to, create a campaign, a newsletter that includes inventory, it's as easy as selecting them from your database. It's pulling in the title, the pricing, anything that you want or to remove from the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So setting it up would be easier than, re-entering all of that inventory on MailChimp. But then the second point is that it connects directly with your contacts. So I think Christine showed that, you'll, similar to MailChimp, you'd be able to see who opened it, who clicked on, and how many times they clicked on a campaign. And so, from there, you can click directly into that contact record and either reach out to them right then or create a follow-up reminder. This is something I tell galleries a lot of the times is like, don't be creepy and pick up the phone and say, hey, I saw that you clicked on my email 16
don't do that.
times.
No.
But, you use that information. That's marketing. That's why they're presenting that information to you. So in 2 weeks, maybe reach out to that collector and say, hey, I had you on my mind. You can act naive about it, but that they are thinking about you. And so, whatever you can do to, help pick up that communication is to your advantage, and they never need to know how you knew of their current interest level.
Yeah, that's what cookies are. Basically, if you go to a website, you pick up a cookie and then you're served an ad, right? So those are those automatic processes, but essentially you have the same skill set, and tools at your fingertips to know who's clicking, who's interested. I always like looking at the statistics afterwards,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Are there any other questions?
I wanted to add to that is that your audience, your contacts are connected also. So if you make like mailing lists, like VIPs or curators or whatever, or family, whatever it is, as you enter new contacts into ARTCLOUD that fit that criteria or that filtering model that you set up, it'll automatically add it to the audience rather than having to like export from ARTCLOUD over to MailChimp, if you have new people, new contact cards. So.
Thank you.
Any other questions or anyone want to give examples of maybe launches that they did or releases or things that are coming up that they need some brainstorming help by?
As the holiday season comes up, I think that this is a really smart way to kind of think about grouping posts together, because it's so hard to constantly, be generating content for posts. So if you can create an event around it, and maybe it's not a sale, maybe it is just like, maybe you have a new series and you want to garner some excitement around it. So maybe you do some of those teaser posts and then, you post your entire series on your website and then you ask for feedback. It doesn't have to be sales related, but it's a great way to kind of create a story with multiple, days and outreaches, whether it's social and newsletter incorporation.
And I put everyone's contact information in the chat. So maybe think of a question later on. Go ahead and reach out to any of us. We're happy to help.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Good to see some familiar faces and names here. So
Marion asked a question. Do you have any advice on length of newsletters? I've been educating my audience, but it's long. Is that effective? I haven't seen your newsletter, so I can't exactly tell. But I think for me, what I educate my clients on is newsletter should be a tease to go somewhere else. So you don't want to give the whole, if someone writes an essay about you, you don't want to give the whole essay on your newsletter, right? You want them to click off to your website or to sign up for something or to go to your social media where the post is. So I think the best thing you could do is look at your statistics and see where are people clicking maybe, or if people are clicking, you know, or if they're clicking at things that are on the bottom of the newsletter, because if they're not clicking on anything on the bottom half, that means they're not really getting to it's too long, they're not really scrolling down. So by looking at your statistics of how many people are opening or how many people are clicking, you can kind of get an interest level.
Yeah, I like to think put the meatiest information at the top, and if they want to keep scrolling, then they have the opportunity to.
ARTCLOUD also offers, the ability to have like a blog. So you could maybe link out from your newsletter to your blog, and then, people who are interested could kind of get more in-depth info from you. There, yeah. Okay, and then as I mentioned, we do office hours each month. So next month, December 16th, please join us for how to get your work noticed by the press. We'll be talking about, approaching art writers, kind of how to get yourself into art publications. So that's going to be an exciting one. We'll have some more special guests as well. And you can register on that Eventbrite page where you registered for this event. And then, as I also mentioned, we have resources in yellow are the articles on the ARTCLOUD website that can tell you a little bit more about social catalogs, what they are and how to connect them. And then please join our Facebook group for artists. We have some, information on residencies, a little bit more information on the business of being an artist that comes out there. So we'll be happy to have you more conversational kind of space for artists. And then also our YouTube channel is where we store all of these office hours videos. So lots of great content there, and also platform tours to kind of give you a better handle of the ARTCLOUD system. So check that out.
Thanks everyone so much for joining in. Really appreciate all the questions.
Thank you.